Welcome in to the latest episode, the first Europa League episode of the Betting the Pitch season. I'm your host, real_G Warner. We are coming to you live on match day because it's not just Thursday in the first week. Really looking forward to getting into some sort of routine on this soccer season. We had Champions League spanning Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week. There was a podcast on that. Thank you for all the support on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify at Betting the Pitch. And then, of course, on YouTube at the real_G Warner. And if you want the 1 minute quick, I guess, really freestyled ultimate best bet, you can find that at the real_G Warner on Instagram or the same YouTube channel. We're almost up to 200 subscribers. Thank you for everyone coming in. Appreciate that as well. I'm going to shout everybody out if I remember. And let's go through all of the Europa League matches on this Wednesday and Thursday. Give you a quick, I guess, rundown on the early matches, though they just kicked off a few minutes ago. So, let's get into it. We will have ultimate best bets coming end of show. We're 3-0 year to date. I'm halfway through Union Berlin and TSG Hoffenheim, which is looking like a loser. So that perfect record might be done, but time to start a new streak. So let's get in here and like swimwear and let's do it. So the first matchup on this Wednesday was Michelin hosting Sturm Graz. So Michelin, a smaller club from Denmark, I believe. Austria. Never really been that impressed by Sturm Graz that they made it into Champions League last season, the expanded format. Michelin 1 goal favorites. All the juice on Sturm Graz totals 3.25, and it's used very heavily to under. Michelin to me were a good offensive team, so I don't. There wasn't much for me in this one as I don't really trust Sturm Graz whatsoever. They've had some player sales to countries like Germany. We'll see what happens with them. And certainly a lot to learn from the Europa League after match day one. The only other match in this early window is PAOK, P-A-O-K, Thessaloniki in Greece. They were hosting Maccabi Tel Aviv. PAOK, half a goal favorites. All the juice on Maccabi Tel Aviv on the road, surprisingly. Totals 2.5, juice more to the under. I'm not sure if we're playing matches in Israel this season with the conflict that has been going on. Seems like we've been avoiding Ukraine, so why wouldn't we avoid Israel as well? Don't know why they're in UEFA either, but that's besides the point. With all that said, PAOK to me is a much stronger club, so it kind of felt like there's some value on them, especially with Maccabi Tel Aviv. Really looking like one of the weaker clubs in all of the European competitions, but they're back again and look forward to being against them again this season. So now we'll move to matches that will be starting soon, and then of course we'll do all of Thursday. We'll start with Crvena Zvezda. They are hosting Celtic in Belgrade. Red Star Belgrade is another name for them. Currently a pick 'em right now. Juice is split both ways. Total is 3, just very heavily to under. Celtic, I mean, ever since Ange Postecoglou left, they've not really been the same club. At least they've been playing a different style, and I think a better one ultimately. In terms of where I expect this number to go, I would expect that Celtic will close a favorite, but certainly seems fairly respectful to Red Star Belgrade at the moment. I'll be interested more in the home team playing in front of a big crowd to see what this number gets to. I guess I'll lean to FKCZ, as it's called, football club, is Crvena Zvezda, easy for me to pronounce at this hour. And I'll lean to that pick. I'm not really sure I feel much for the total. We'll probably lean under because 3 feels like a big number in the first match day of Europa League. Move next to Malmo hosting Ludogorets. Currently Malmo of Sweden, 3/4 goal favorites with all the juice. Total is 2.5, juiced all the way to under. Ludogorets are going to go in there, at least based on everything I've seen from them in the past, is they're going to go and try to keep this goal list as long as possible. 0-0, ideal for Ludogorets, especially away from home. Any sort of result for a road team, I think, is something valuable, but especially for a smaller budget Bulgarian side like Ludogorets are. For that reason, I think my strongest lean here is the under 2.5. Though Malmo certainly have been more talented and look like a bigger and better side. Dinamo Zagreb from Croatia, then host Fenerbahce of Turkey. Currently, Dinamo Zagreb 1/4 goal underdogs at home with a little bit more juice. Totals 2.5, juice pretty heavily to over right now. Dinamo Zagreb as a home underdog makes sense based on Fenerbahce and their propensity to spend, especially in the Turkish Super League. They have plenty of money, though they certainly don't really perform as well on the European stage. For that reason, definitely interested in the Dinamo Zagreb side, getting 1/4 of a goal at home, and we'll see where this line ends up. Nice then hosts Roma. Currently, Nice 1/4 goal home underdogs in France to AS Roma in Italy. More juice on Roma right now, and they are the favorite 1/4 goals away from home. Totals 2.5, juice more to the under. And Nice have been a puzzling project to me. Brought in a extremely talented defensive manager, Frank Hayes, from Lens last season, and then their what seemingly was a great defense, poor offense turned to a really great offense and poor defense. That didn't make a lot of sense to me because those two things I thought they would just stay a very defensive club, and they didn't. Roma on the other side have had a tumultuous last season, but brought in Gianpiero Gasparini, one of the most intelligent, brightest managers, not youngest, but brightest in all of Italy, who had basically been the mastermind, but alongside a strong recruitment base of Atalanta Bergamo. I'm really bullish on Roma this season. Took them in a Champions League, Europa League dual pool that I'm in, but I haven't gotten off to a great start this season. So I'm curious of what's going to happen here. I think road favorite is too expensive. I do think that Roma also are just really kind of more a defensive side. So maybe Gianpiero Gasparini has a lot to move or a lot to change. But I'll lean to the home underdog and under 2.5. Real Betis then hosts Nottingham Forest. Currently Betis quarter goal favorites at home. And they are not, I don't think, playing at the Benito Villamarin as that is being reconstructed, fixed, whatever, upgraded this season. They're at the Cartuja, a Spanish Olympic stadion, or stadio is probably the correct pronunciation, or how to say it in Espanol. They're quarter goal favorites to Nottingham Forest, who have sacked their manager, brought in Ange Postecoglou. Speaking of, total in this one's 2 3/4. Used more to the over and a little bit more juice on Nottingham Forest. There's been some speculation that Ange Ball will be back. I don't know how it's going to look. He certainly did it and was successful at Celtic FC in Scotland from it, but was not at Tottenham, though he did win Europa League in some amazing fashion, though their budgets certainly make any English team a should-be favorite in the lower competitions. In Europe, I think Real Betis have lost a lot of players. They sold Jesus Rodriguez to Como in Italy, who was one of their, I think, phenoms that should have been held on for anything they could, but clearly money is a problem, and probably the stadium and the refurbishing certainly played into that. With all that said, I don't trust Nottingham Forest, even though they have a bigger budget, bigger squad value, all those sort of things. I'll be waiting to see if Real Betis fall to a pick 'em. It seems unlikely, and I'll lean to under 2 3/4, but that's really hard to do with any Ange Ball club. That we'll see what he eventually does to this team. Sport Club Freiburg, as I wear their shirt. If you're watching live on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. It's huge for the search rankings. Throw a question in there. If I see it, I will read it in the next episode, or maybe pitch it toward A_Snicker on tonight's NFL episode. But Freiburg 1-goal favorites right now to SC Basel 1893. All the juice on Freiburg as the Swiss club comes to town. Total is 3, just a little bit more to under. And Sport Club Freiburg got off to a really horrible start. I think lost their first 2 matches, then were looking dead at home to Stuttgart, but ultimately came back from behind and ended up winning. I think Basel are the side I'm interested in just because they're a huge underdog here, and it looks like they might even move to a bigger underdog before kickoff on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States, 2 p.m. local here in Dallas, Texas. I think I also want to bet against the Freiburg offense. I haven't really believed in it in a while. They've been great at home over the years, but it's not been a great start for this season. Moving to the last match on Wednesday before I give you an ultimate best bet selection for the Wednesday portion of this Europa League card. We'll go Sporting Braga, quarter goal favorites at home with almost all the juice to Feyenoord of the Eredivisie in Holland. Sporting Braga of Portugal. Total is 2 3/4. She's more to the under. It's hard to back unders with Dutch clubs, but especially in the European competitions, they do miss their home crowds quite a bit. With that said, I think Feyenoord are better, so I lean to that quarter of a goal. Sporting Braga have been pretty disappointing on the international level going back for years and years. For my best bet on this episode, I'm going to go with Nice quarter goal underdogs at home to Roma. I want to see Roma actually show their full colors. So they've not done that just yet. Moving to Thursday, we'll start with the early matches. Go Ahead Eagles, a smaller club from Holland that got their manager, I think, pulled away to be head coach of a Bundesliga side. I'm not exactly sure which one that is. Could look it up, but in the interest of time, let's go. Go Ahead Eagles, speaking of half a goal favorites at home to FCSB of Bucharest in Romania. Almost all the juice on FCSB. Totals 2 3/4, juice all the way to over. Now, when I saw a new Eredivisie side, I figured they'd be on a similar level to the others of Feyenoord and Ajax and those of the past. But Go Ahead Eagles seems like a pretty small budget club, part of why their manager got lured away. I think FCSB are a decent underdog because they've been in Europe and have been playing in these competitions for a while. Go to Eagles first time, might even be a European debut for them. So I'll lean to FCSB getting a half of a goal, and I think the under 2 3/4 looks interesting. Would probably prefer would definitely prefer the push on three if it gets there. Lille then hosts Brann, SK Brann, I believe, from Norway. Lille of France. Lille one goal favorites all the Jews. Total is three, just all the way to under. Lille were awesome, one of the best clubs in Champions League in the league phase last season, and then kind of petered out, you could say. Certainly, that's something that people like to say in Europe. I don't know why I just said it. I don't really like that phrase. But anyway, they kind of ran out of gas. Sold Jonathan David to Juventus in Italy and lost plenty of other players. Brought in Olivier Giroud and his 37-year old legs or something like that. So we'll see how that does. But he's never been a speed guy. It's more been placement and his ability to get ahead on the ball. And he's still tall, so that helps. Braun were given a little respect from the marketplace on winning this competition, I think more than they deserved based on their squad value. So I need to see Braun perform here. I don't think I have much interest besides maybe under three, though it's not really a strong lean at the moment. We'll move next to Aston Villa hosting Bologna. Currently, Aston Villa half a goal favorites with all the juice. Total is 2.5 with all the juice to under. I don't trust Villa. They've been horrible to start the season. They look absolutely dead, lost, out of gas, and it's like the beginning of this year. I wonder if that maybe puts a little pressure on Unai Emery if he's going to be out the door soon. But Bologna, I think, are talented. I think they're strong, and I like the under and the underdog there. Moving to next match, we'll go to Ferencváros hosting Victoria Plzeň. A match in Budapest, Hungary. Currently, Ferencváros pick 'em with all the juice. Totals 2.5, juice all the way to over. Victoria Plzeň have been, I thought, very. They've been good performers in Europe. Were awesome in the Conference League a couple seasons ago. Were better in Europa League last year, and I think they can go to Budapest and cause some problems for Ferencváros, who have not been getting much respect, in my opinion. I need to get a core of a goal to want to play this underdog here. We don't have that yet. I think strongest lean for me is under 2.5, though Ferencváros were not the under champions like I thought they would be last season. Rangers then host Genk in Glasgow. Genk coming over from Belgium. Currently, Rangers a pick 'em with all the juice right now. Totals 2 3/4, juice very heavily to over. Feels pretty cheap on Rangers. It doesn't seem like the market's been really in love with them so far this year, but I'll lean to that pick 'em at home. Red Bull Salzburg then hosts FC Porto of Portugal. Red Bull Salzburg of Austria. Currently, Salzburg half a goal underdog at home with all the juice. Totals 2 3/4, juice a little bit more to under. Red Bull Salzburg are basically the minor league team of Red Bull Leipzig and plenty of others across Germany and other places across Europe, of course. They haven't been as strong or as talented in the last few seasons. I don't know if that's maybe explains the struggles that RB Leipzig have had as well. But Porto, one of the favorites to win this competition, certainly are very strong, but have not looked great ever since their deep run in the Champions League when they knocked out Juventus in the knockout rounds a couple seasons ago, maybe 3 or 4 now. I think the road favorite seems a little expensive to me, so I'll lean to Salzburg in that half of a goal. They are an over team, though. Porto used to be an under team, but feel like they've been over teams as well. And Joe Dollar, longtime Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/surreal_G Warner, in case you want an incredible run to end this baseball season. Of course, picks across all their sports, including the soccer as well. He loves overs. I guess I lean over in that one. Utrecht then Lyon, another Eredivisie Dutch kind of debutant Utrecht, known for I think where they have ADE, the dance something dance event in maybe that's Amsterdam. I don't know. There's music stuff I know because Armin van Buuren usually performs there or something like that. But Utrecht quarter goal underdogs at home to Lyon. More juice on Lyon right now. Totals 2 3/4, juice more to the under. I lean to Utrecht because I feel like they're one of the better of the Eredivisie sides that we haven't seen in Europe for a while. And they're hosting Lyon, who have had to sell a bunch of players after their near automatic demotion to the Ligue 2 in France based on financial irregularities or something like that. I don't think they were committing fraud, but their president had to step down, John Textor, who I believe is American. Nice job by him. But Utrecht is a quarter goal underdog I'm interested in at home, but still want to see a lot from that club moving forward. 2 matches left to go, then we get to the ultimate best bet, get out of here, then get ready for the other matches that are starting across La Liga and other leagues, the Coppa Italia and the Carabao Cup in England today. Tough, crazy week and certainly not standard. VfB Stuttgart from Germany. They are half a goal favorites at home to Celta de Vigo. All the juice on Celta. Total is 3, juice all the way to under. Stuttgart are reeling. They've lost Nick Voltemata to Newcastle, and then Dennis Undav got rolled up on a corner kick. Guy coming down, going up for a header, and landed right on his knee in a bad type of position. I think tore his meniscus. I'm concerned about Stuttgart because I think, as the window was closing, I don't know that I trust them so much to score goals, and that's a big problem because that's kind of how they built themselves. They've been strong in the German Bundesliga for years, finishing, I think, second place a couple seasons ago and ahead of Bayern Munchen. But things have changed. Celta Vigo also not off to a great start. You could see the money problems in Spain as they sold a lot of their great talent to Sevilla, who've been underperforming in Europe, and then also I think the Premier League at Wolverhampton Wanderers. With all that said, Celta are the side I'm interested in, though it's going to be a tough situation moving or just traveling to Stuttgart for that. Kennst the Curva and what they have there. I'll lean to Celta getting a half of a goal and to under three. Last but not least, Young Boys Bern. They are hosting Panathinaikos from Greece. Young Boys from Switzerland. They're quarter goal favorites. All the juice on Panathinaikos. Away from home totals 2 3/4, just all the way to under. Young Boys are not a talented team. They got smashed in Champions League. I think had one chance to get any sort of points last year as they were on my pool roster, and I think got me as big fat zero. But Panathinaikos, they've spent some money over the years. Greek sides are not extremely strong, but I think the Swiss ones are arguably worse. So Panathinaikos quarter goal underdogs. I'm interested there, and that'll do it for this episode of the Betting the Pitch podcast. I'm going to check to see if I have any comments before we get to the ultimate best bet. Looks like my mic was unplugged. Great, mic is muted. Awesome. Oh, sorry, Anderson Hernandez. Sorry, man. Mute is a great feature. See, what's happening is I feel like the live stream is where I have the problems. Sorry, boys. I don't know when you guys lost me. It looks like 12:20, so that was 15 minutes ago. Hamburglar kit, thank you. Uh, I think there must be some sort of problem with the live StreamYard audio. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for saying something, Anderson. Sorry, I had this screen muted. Yeah, mute is a great feature. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Can't hear. We'll let you know if it sound back. He's taking the underdog and under goals in all matches. Spoiler alert. Thank you, Joe Dollar. Really appreciate that as always. Yes. Always thought if these games ended scoreless, Griff would be the richest man in the world. That is literally what I'm hoping for. My favorite scoreline. It's not even close. Um, okay, we're back. We're back. Never caught any handicaps. Awesome. Well, I don't think we were muted on Zoom. So sorry everyone who's live coming in the comments. Yeah, I okay, I'm gonna hide this and see if it mutes it automatically if that's what happens. Because it might. Zoom still is fine where I'm recording everything. Nope, I guess I don't know how to explain what happens here. I guess any sort of issue with my mic is probably where it comes from. Um, Gentlemen, sorry, you're gonna have to wait, I guess, for this because I don't feel like going through all these matches all over again because it's already been recorded, but it will be out there very soon. Sorry for those of you that joined live and it didn't work out to the best of our abilities. I'll admit that it was my bad, and I blame it on my microphone. Thank you, pregame.com, for supplying it to me. It's time for the ultimate best bet portion of the show. I do also want to shout out the recent YouTube subscribers. Thank you for those of you that are on with me when we're on here, and I really appreciate that more than you know. We only have like 800 to go till we charge ads, so you don't have to worry about ads for a very, very long time. So that seems kind of nice. Let's see, new subscribers. They used to email them to me. Now I have no idea, but I guess everyone just exists all again. Cedric Vidal, I know you've been there. Vim Vitens, I appreciate that as well. Hope you tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This is fun. Anyway, let's get to ultimate best bet portion. I still haven't told you what I like for Thursday, but I will. I promise you that. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, never caught any handicaps. I know, Joe. My bad, Joseph. I apologize, but Zoom will be out shortly. And you certainly can see it on patreon.com/real_G1, one of my longest term subscribers, if not the longest. Thank you, Joe, for your support. For my best bet on Wednesday, and we'll also check out Wednesday night tonight. We have a NFL podcast with A_Schnicker coming out. I still need my first best bet win of the season. It's starting to get really annoying, but maybe I won't pick a Patriots game this weekend. But from Wednesday, I like Nice, a quarter goal underdog at home. And on Thursday, I like Bologna, half a goal underdog on the road in this beautiful Europa League. And for my ultimate best bet on this episode, which you will see in a 1 minute reel or so on Apple Podcasts. Nope, not on Apple Podcasts. That's for the full version. On Instagram at @the_real_G_Warner and on YouTube at @the_real_G_Warner, where you can also get the full version. But Nice as a quarter goal underdog at home to Roma was my biggest interest on Wednesday. It's coming up in a couple hours. And on Thursday, my favorite is Bologna going on the road to Aston Villa. I will go with the Villa Bologna under 2.5 as my ultimate best bet in this episode. I do like the Bologna side as well. And we'll get back in here. We'll talk to you all very, very soon. Thanks for coming in here. Thanks for the live uh, lip reading while you're at work. Sorry about that, but hopefully next time my mic will stay plugged in. Thanks for coming in. Talk to you all soon, and you'll catch this very, very quickly as soon as I can upload it.